34 minutes after 10 o'clock in the Mountain Time Zone, and you are listening to News Talk 1310 KFKA's Amy Oliver Show on this Thursday, June 14th. Coming up in just a moment, we'll have our This Date in History trivia question. And for those of you who are calling in right now and want to ask Jeff a question, the way it's going to work is you have to tell it to Jennifer. I'm not going to let this turn into one of the mailers, that some of those mailers and flyers that have gone out. The exact same courtesy will be extended to Steve Humphrey, the other candidate. If he were to come on the show, if he is to come on the show, he is welcome to sit here. We'll have a conversation, and questions will be taken off the air. But again, this is not going to turn into some of the mailers, the flyers that I have seen going out. It's just not going to denigrate into that type of conversation. So if you want to ask a question, 353-1310, 877-353-1310. My show, my rules. Let's get back to Jeff Hare. Jeff, have you and Steve Humphrey been able to have a debate or any kind of a dialogue about issues or the race?
There have actually been a couple of invitations extended to both of us as candidates, and I've responded back to all of them and said I'd be more than happy to do so, but none of them have been scheduled at this point, so I'm assuming that means that Steve hasn't accepted the request.
So what kind of groups have extended invitations?
I know there's a South County group that Steve Reams is trying to coordinate a forum or debate in the Platteville area, and then the Wednesday morning breakfast group, which is headed up by Jim Eckersley, and a very well-attended group, has extended invitation as well. And even the Greeley 912 group has extended an invitation. Most recently, I think for last night, it was going to be at one point. And then the Greeley Republican women have extended an opportunity for us to come and be a part of that group as well.
And so far, you have shown up by yourself?
Yeah, that's correct. We haven't had a public debate or even a forum like they've had in other districts. Do you
think you're all that different on issues?
Actually, I don't. I mean, I think we're fairly similar on, we're fairly both strong conservatives, and I think we're, probably a shades of gray different in terms of our values. Yeah,
so it's two fairly, it seems like two principled conservatives. So I guess my question is, why the vitriol at you?
Gosh, I wish I could answer that question. I mean, I know that a lot of the attack ads have disseminated out of one special interest group and friends of that group, so to speak. And I think I've made some comments on the conflict of interest associated with that. I wish I could tell. I mean, it's obviously I don't like receiving the distorted attack ads. It hasn't been fun for me personally. It's been hard on my family, as it always is in a race, and I would love to have that question answer myself.
Yeah, how do your kids, your wife, how are they dealing with some of this stuff? And I guess, are you surprised at how this tone and tenor has turned out?
Well, surprised, no. In some respects, a lot of people warned me that, the group backing my opponent has run a lot of negative campaigns historically. So I was aware that it was going to happen. Certainly didn't understand to the extent. There's been 8 separate attack ads plus emails and all kinds of other things. And my family obviously has been very supportive. I mean, it's kind of funny when I get an attack ad and it's like on gun issues, and my middle child, my 12-year-old daughter, she goes, "Dad, you love guns. Why are they saying that you don't like guns?" So I've gotten a lot of support out of my family, and they've encouraged me to keep the high road and keep with my convictions.
As has somebody else that I have a lot of respect for. He's the man who actually presided over my wedding to John, and it's Pastor Steve Wilson, who to me is a great, great guy.
Yep. Well, I've certainly had his support from the very beginning. Pastor Steve is my senior pastor at Greeley Wesleyan. I have received a bunch of encouraging notes from him. Last week he sent me a note with reference to Romans 12:2, which just happens to be part of my life verse, which is Romans 12:1 through 2, and that kind of just feel like God was sending me a message saying, I'm looking out for you, and Pastor Steve has certainly been a big part of encouraging and praying for my family and I.
Yeah, because it isn't easy. And anytime you run for office, you expect, politics is a full contact sport. It's rough and tumble. It is, it just is not, it sort of, you think about it, it can give our constitutional republic a bad name, but it also provides an opportunity for full discourse. And I think one of the things you've probably learned is that being open and honest and forthright and just getting out there in front of issues has certainly been the most important, and also sticking to the message. While diversionary tactics may be going on, sticking to issues, job growth, or free market principles, those are the number one issues for Coloradoans. Social issues are certainly very important, and the Second Amendment is obviously incredibly important, but the issues, to me, that are most important, and Republicans will lose if we allow things like civil unions. And I'm not even saying you have a difference of opinion, but we cannot allow civil unions to divide our party. We just can't have it. Fiscal policy is most important, at least to me, and energy, and I'd throw energy in there too.
Absolutely, and I think that's been the challenge for Republicans, is to stay on task. And a lot of people have come in and say that they're for reducing the size of government or reducing regulation, and oftentimes they get sidetracked by other issues. So I'm really going to focus on that. Reducing the size of the government, focusing on jobs and the economy, things that can help. That's going to be my focus, and I think we have taken the eye off that ball in a lot of respects.
Well, Jeff, one more time, give out your website and how folks can get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Well, we've got information on the website, which is hareforhouse.com, so HAREFOR house.com. We've got a link at the bottom of the page to Facebook. We have been very active at posting things on Facebook, and people have been interacting with us on those posts and asking questions, and would certainly encourage folks to reach out to us.
And again, this invitation is extended to Steve Humphrey, has been since May 24th. Welcome to come in, talk, make his case for his own candidacy, and we're happy to entertain that as well. Thanks so much for being on the show, Jeff. We greatly appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
Great. Thanks, Amy. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. 10:42 the time. And we'll extend the exact same courtesy, like I said, to Steve Humphrey, should he want to come on the show. Like I did it on May 24th. He can come in, answer questions, and then we will take questions off the air. And again, for those of you who wanted to come on the air, and I know who you are, and wanted to ask questions, I'm not going to allow this show to be hijacked and turned into one of those flyers. If you have a question you wanted to ask, Jennifer could have asked it for you. My show, my rules. Do the same thing for Steve Humphrey. Exact same thing. All right, tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. Coming back, we're going to get to this date in history, and then I have a pretty cool announcement to make, at least I think from my perspective. I'll do that in just a moment.